Good morning. Hi, it's Garry. Welcome to today's live video. It's a bit nice here over in Perth. Let me just adjust this camera. I'll have to keep tweaking this as we go along. There we go. Just so I can get more of my head in this thing, I'll just move the mic to one side. So, how are we all doing? Let me just fetch up this. I don't know, I keep pressing the wrong button. So, weather update today. No, you don't want that one. We want not that one. I don't know, I keep pressing the wrong buttons. So, today's weather update. It's a little bit on the chilly side here in Perth, but it's not too bad. 15 degrees Celsius at the moment. That's 59 Fahrenheit. So, yeah, quite livable for some people. I mean, certainly when you compare it to places like the UK, it's quite warm. But yeah, that's today's weather update. I just do this to try and kill a little bit of time to let people come in. Oh wow, loads of comments. So we've got Tom Morley. Hello all, welcome to you, Tom. Miss Marilyn Darling. Hi everybody, hi Tom, welcome to you. Blonde Scales 1, good evening from Arkansas. Miss Marilyn Darling, hi Garry. Miss Marilyn Darling, hi Blonde Scales 1. Ted, hi everyone from Seattle. We've got John, greetings from New York. Chris, g'day. Andreas, good morning from a chilly Brisbane. Tom, hello from Northbridge, California. Chris, yeah, looking forward to September. Yeah, I am as well, once that weather starts heating up a bit again. I'd say it's actually not too bad today. I very nearly didn't put my hat on, but I thought, no, let's keep my ears nice and warm. Shaq MD, welcome to you, sir. Ricardo, good morning from London. Ron, wait, live now, or did someone kidnap the clarinet player? Yeah, I know what you mean. Tom, to Shaq MD, hello. Anita, hi from Florida. We've got Chris, 11 degrees C. At 10:30 in Toowoomba. Chris, at least we got to double digits today. I think we occasionally go down to single digits, but that's like only until like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then usually it is back up into doubles. We're meant to be having some cold weather later this week. I think one day the forecast low is 6 degrees. That'll be a cold morning. Blonde Scales 1, we're supposed to have highs down in the 80s Fahrenheit this week. That would be nice. Yeah, I think the UK's just been suffering a little bit. They had, was it something like 30 degrees? When I saw that, I was thinking, yeah, 30 degrees. That's like late spring. Ricardo, 19 Celsius here at 1:30 a.m. So Ricardo, I believe, is in London. So yeah, I'd say the UK having a little bit of a hot stretch. James, good morning. Welcome to you, James. Just do a quick refresh. Okay, so let's jump straight into today's topic. So today, I haven't done one of these for a while, so I thought we'd take a look at what's in my pen trays, and I'm going to reset, so we're going to start from the beginning with them. I'm just going to go to the screen to make it easy to decide what we're going to do. Over here, where we've got this little bit of purple, this is random.org. It generates a random number, so I'm just going to generate a number between 1 and 20. And the number is 3, so tray number 3. Which is this one, which looks nearly empty. I will pull out the pens that go in it. The reason why it's nearly empty is that most of them are pretty pens, and I keep them in a different area. So let's take a look at the contents of this tray. So, I say this one is Italy pens. Hopefully you can see that there, if I can get central. Don't know, a bit hard. Anyway, it's about here. So, the first pen we've got is the Leonardo Ferrari. So, reaching over to the other tray. This one is in white salt. Quite like this. It's a nice, well, not really a colour, is it? It's white. It's got that cracked ice type look. Really enjoyed this. I love this older style section. I know that some of the Leonardos nowadays are not having these, which is a shame. The top comes off to give access to the captured converter. And then we can have a look at that capture converter there. And the nib on here, I can't remember exactly. Let me just check. That's a 1.1 stub nib on there, I believe. So that's a Leonardo Ferrari. That goes back in the other box. The Leonardo Magico is next. Just reaching over because that's an inked. That's currently inked up. When I can find where it is. Just had to reach over because I cleaned this out during the week. So we've got here the Leonardo Magico. This is in the meal or the honey pattern. Again, it's that cracked ice type of pattern. We've got a nice wide ink window on this. I love the ink window. Piston filling pen. And the nib on here, I'll just read it. Yeah, this is a broad nib. I do like this. Again, we're now starting to get into the newer type of the sections, which I'm not so keen on. I mean, they're all right. I just prefer the other, like the other ones, because my fingers just seem to fit a lot better in them. So that here is the Magico. So that's been cleaned out. I might as well put that in there. Up next, I'm reading off the, I know I should have shown you this. I have slots on here. This, it's just an A4 document case, and my wife made this here, and it's got like ribs in it so I can separate the pens. So the next one, again having to lean over. This is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. Let me just, I've just realised I'm going to have to see if there's a way I can time these comments so I don't need to keep remembering. There we go. So here we've got that Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. And this is in dark Hawaii. Beautiful pattern. This is the, I think it's the first gen. I believe there's a second gen out now. Really nice. I love this pattern. We've got blues, we've got some browns, got a bit of like chatoyancy in there. This is the Grande version, so it's the bigger version. Again, it's got that older style section. Because of how I hold my pens, I hold them quite low. I really do like this. My fingers just fit there nicely. Piston filling pen. No piston mechanism. That's no ink window on this. That's the downside with this, because I never know how much ink is in here. And every time I use it, it runs out of ink as I'm partway through writing something. Here we've got the nib. This is a medium nib. So that's the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. Next up, we've got a Visconti. Oh, I'm running out of... Where did I put everything? Here it is. Lost me case for a minute. We've got the Visconti, and this is the Van Gogh. This is in the blue portrait. I love the way this is made. So although it looks like it's a round body, it's not. It's made up of individual stripes, so you can actually feel them. It feels very, I want to say like ribbon. I don't know if that's a really a real word. I'm not very good at words. This is a cartridge converter pen. I do love the colour of this. So there's a converter in there. I've got ink in this one. That's why I had to go and dig at my pen case for a second. On here, I've got a broad nib. It's a fairly small nib as well. I don't think it's as small as a number 5. It might be. Or it could be a 5.5, but certainly definitely not a number 6 nib. This metal section is quite slippy. That's one of the downsides. And the cap on here is a magnetic cap. So hopefully, if I gently move that there, it just catches itself. So I'll just pop that away. Next up, we've got a Visconti Breeze. Where's the Visconti Breeze, Gary? Ah, here it is. It's in the wrong slot. Visconti Breeze. So when I bought this, this was the cheapest Visconti. I don't think they actually make this anymore. I've seen, I think it's Fig Boot on Pens has got today a review of the new cheap Visconti, which I think is called the Commedia, something like that. Chances I'll pronounce that right, might be Commedia, given that it's Italian. I do like this. This is the blueberry colour. It's a very basic shape. Again, we've got a cartridge converter. Nice section, nice size, nice width, comfortable to use. The nib, again, it's a broad nib, same nib as is on the Van Gogh. I've got to be honest, in a way, I know they're nice pens, but I do think that a lot of Visconti pens are quite overpriced for what they are. Next up, again, we're sticking with Visconti. So in my box, I try and group them by manufacturer. My favourite pen, my baby, the the Visconti Homo Sapiens in Dark Age. Wow, I love this pen. Vacuum filling pen. No ink window, one of the downsides, but I don't care. It's such a joy to write with my most expensive pen, my precious. 18 karat gold nib there. Wow, and that hook safe mechanism, absolutely love that. We've got one more pen, let me just pop this away. The last pen is by Tibaldi. This is the Tibaldi Bononia. This is Bora Bora. Again, beautiful striped material. Very attractive, very nice to look at. Bit sharper on the ends than what we see with the others. Cartridge converter. There we go. Now, one thing I will say with these, the threads seem very tight. So that was a little bit tougher than I would normally expect to come off. And when I'm taking the cap off the body, it's resin on resin, but it feels like it's grating. We've got a number 6 nib there. This is a broad nib. I don't often use this pen, which is a shame because it writes beautifully. It's just this, the taking on and off of the cap. It just feels so, it's unpleasant. And then, as I said, I've got all these in a box. I'll just show you. This is my Galen leather box. This sits behind me. And in here, this is where I put what I call my nice looking pens. There you can see there my setup in the reflection. Try and get that straight. But yeah, that's all my, not necessarily expensive pens, although at the moment most of them are. But they're what I call my nice looking pens. So I'll pop that back there. Hopefully that won't slide because I put it on wrong. Right, let's jump over into the comments again. Ricardo, yeah, we had a hot 30 C plus. And my daughter, she's in North Yorkshire, and she was saying about how hot it was, and we were saying, yeah, well, that's not really that warm, is it? Chris, the dog is lying in front of the heater and blocking the hot air. Yeah, our dog does that. We have a couple of hot water bottles we put in the bed at night. She's a little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, so she sleeps on the bed, and she finds, no matter where we put it, she finds one of the hot water bottles, and then she gets herself laid around it. And if we try to move her or try to move the bottle, we get this stare coming from her. Miss Marilyn Darling, today's mug, I don't think I said, is a Star Wars mug from the original trilogy, and with my customary peppermint tea. So 76 Fahrenheit, that's 26, and I think that's in California. Marie, hi from Michigan. Marie, lots of talk about the Sailor Tuzu. Has anyone tried it? I certainly haven't, and I don't know if I'll get it. I might get it because at the end of the day, I think it is a good, like a starter pen. So I might get it from when I do my starter pens. But at the moment, no real plans on getting one. But yeah, I've seen a couple of reviews on it. I like the idea of being able to move that section. I think that's quite a good idea. Padrino, the Grande is such a great pen. It absolutely is. I love it. Perfect size for me. I've got larger hands, so for me it's really nice. The Magico is in the standard size, and you can tell the difference between them. Blonde Scales 1, not sure about getting a Tuzu. Yeah, I said I'm in two minds as well. Ron, big thanks. Padrino, 18 Fahrenheit. That makes it a great feel. Facets, 18 facets, sorry. Yeah, I do like that. I'm assuming they were talking about the Van Gogh. Very nice. I like that. Just expensive. Tom, not a fan of magnetic caps. Most of them don't seal well. Yeah, I don't like the magnetic caps. As I said a few weeks ago, for a very different reason. I've got an internal cardiac defibrillator, and it is affected by magnets. So I always worry if I put a magnetic pen in a shirt pocket, it might affect that. So that, it's a little thing, but that's what it is that gets me. John, is the Leonardo, is the Grande a piston or a cartridge converter? This one, or certainly the one I've got, which is the first gen of them, is a piston. I said downside with it, no ink window. So you never know what your ink level is, which is such a shame because I think that, I'm just adjusting the camera slightly, that to me is the only real downside with it. It's not being able to do that. But hopefully they might fix that. Ron, made the AliExpress order instead of big price vintage Parker Duofold. Yeah, I think, to be honest, this was a question Ron asked last week because he was saying he's fairly new. Should he go for like the big purchase or maybe some smaller purchases? I personally think that's a good move going for that. This side here of my pen case, you can't see it today the way I've got the camera. But I've got 10 cases that are nearly full of pens from China. And I've got to be honest, most of them have no issues. Chris, Pulp Addiction has Blackwing pencils. Only place in Australia I've been able to find them. $5 each, but worth it. Yeah, I'm not really a pencil person. I do have one pencil. It was a freebie sent by Cult Pens. I have placed, not long ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did place my latest order with Pulp Addiction, which was to pre-order the Diamine Inkvent calendar. So I've got that ordered, and that will eventually turn up, and then I can get everything ready for my Inkvent series of videos. While we're talking about purchase and deliveries, I'm still waiting for shipping notification from Apple Boon for the 3 pens that I ordered. So from there, I ordered a Delta, what was it called? I just wrote the script for this the other day, doing all my prep work for scripting. Let me just open up the right thing. So the Delta June Reflex, so waiting for that. Then there's a Opus 88 Omar in green and a Faber-Castell Hexo in blue. So waiting for them. One thing I have picked up when I've been doing a little bit more research, the Hexo doesn't come with a converter, but it does come with a cartridge, which is fine because I'm happy filling cartridges with my blunt nose syringe. But that's something to bear in mind if you're going to get a Hexo. Tom, maybe put a bit of silicone oil Twisby on the cap threads. Yeah, I've tried doing that and it didn't make much of a difference, which is a shame. Chris, gritty threads on the resin are wrong thread profile, naughty design. Yeah, I've noticed a number of people have commented about the same thing about the way they feel. I say it's just me. Santa, hi all from New York. Welcome to you. Padrino, the Memento Zero 2.0 has an ink window, but I don't have one yet. Yeah, I don't. One of my... I'm trying to think the best way to put it. One of my quibbles with like Leonardo and a number of other companies, like Narwhal, they put out so many different ones. Same model, just different patterns. And it ends up that, you've got that choice. Well, what colour do you want? Well, there's just too many to choose from. I do like, and again, it's going to sound like I'm being really picky. Well, I am being picky. I think sometimes less choice is better because, you don't have that decision paralysis with it. Chris, thumbs up to Ron. Silent Ink Chronicles, hello, welcome to you. Chris. Sorry. Sometimes a pencil is the right tool and the black win writes on anything. Absolutely. The tools, that's all they are. You know, as I used to say to my son when he was younger, things are tools, not toys. So yeah, if it's the right tool, then that's what to use. Blonde Scales 1, I still need to pre-order my ink vent. Yeah, hopefully it'll come. Well, come in October, I think, which gives me brain's gone dead again. Hopefully it'll come in October. That gives me time to do all the prep work for it. I don't look at the inks. What I do is I take all the plastic wrapping off the bottles, just so when I do the videos, it makes it a bit easier. My wife has been telling me that she's got something like 4 or 5 more things to buy, and then she's got all the additional gifts. So next thing to wait for the Inkvent videos will be, I would think, September time, when Advent calendars come along. Hopefully I'll be able to get a nice, Star Wars or something like, or maybe even a Marvel one. Last year there just wasn't any over here, so I had to get just a bog standard Cadbury one. Ricardo, my Hetzo came with a long cartridge and an empty one inside that doesn't have a bottom. That's a bit weird. But yeah, it was my own fault. I should have read it in more detail earlier on, but never mind. You live and learn. Ricardo, got this week some inks from Cult Pens due to the summer sale. Yeah, I do like my Cult Pen stuff, but as I say, I'm on an ink buying freeze. It must be going on for 100 bottles of ink, which I just need to use them up. Now, of them, 24, maybe, 75 of them will be Inkvent ones, so they're just the little ones. In fact, that must mean I've got more like 120 bottles. Then I've got about 30 or 40 of the Diamine 30ml bottles. Now I've got loads of Pure Pens, some Robert Oster, some Van Diemen's. So yeah, I think I'm on what I call it an ink buying freeze. I don't think I'll ever need to buy another bottle of ink again, to be honest. But we'll see how that goes. So that's all the messages. Let's swap on over to the iPhone camera and take a look at the pens I've been using this week. So let me position the paper. So this week's pen, we start with a pen I've been using all week. Not a lot of ink left in here. This will be going in the clean out pot as soon as I've finished recording this. This is the Pilot Custom 823. Going to give this a rest for a while. I've normally got this inked up all the time, so it's good to give it a chance to sit outside for a bit. Love this transparent brown material. Very nice. This is a vacuum filling pen. So we've got here a Pilot Custom 823 with a broad 14 karat gold nib. Price for this pen, it ain't a cheap pen, 547 Aussie dollars, 547. The ink is by Diamine and it's 3 Kings. Nice ink, nice colouring. I see loads of shading in this. This paper is a Midori MD cotton pad. And in here, let's hold it up to the camera. Hope you can see we've got some shading in there. This is a slightly cream paper though. So that's that Custom 823. Actually, there it is. It's in the clean out pot. Next up, we've got the Mahjong C3. This is in like a transparent blue colour. I'm not sure what the official name is. Cartridge converter. Plastic, so I think you would be able to get away with eyedropper in this. Slight aside, I am doing an experiment at the moment. Is it here to hand? With a Pilot Pereira. Just slight aside, I've eyedroppered it and I want to see how it does. Haven't seen any ink leakage yet, but it's only been a couple of days. So that's one of my current experiments. Anyway, back to this Mahjong. So we've got a Mahjong C3 with a fine nib. It's a fine Jinhao nib. The nib that came with it was crap. That's the best. In fact, I'm being very, very generous saying that. I think it was worse than that. It was 28 Aussie dollars when I got it. The ink, Diamine. I think all today's inks are Diamines. And it's Seize the Night. Very, very nice ink. When it goes down purple, but to me, as it dries, it turns brown. I don't know if that's just my eyes, though. My eyes are not the best at the moment. So that's a Mahjong C3. The next pen I won't be able to write with because I've already cleared it out. This is the Hondian, the Light of Hope. Beautiful blue pen. Cartridge converter. There we go. As you see, it's been cleaned out. A beautiful small blue nib. Really nice writer. It's a fine nib. I don't use it often enough. I really need to get this out more often. So that's the Hondian, the Light of Hope. Up next, I'm just going to start doing this with it because there's a shimmer ink in here. Here we've got the Schaefer Prelude or Prelude. There we go. Beautiful black pen with that gorgeous gold trim. Cartridge converter pen. Loads of threads here. That feels like it's metal though. And certainly the inside of the pen is metal. So I wouldn't even dream, to be honest, of trying to eyedropper this. But loads and loads of threads on there. The nib, it's a Schaefer nib, but it's been ground to a medium cursive italic. Really nice. So this is a Schaefer Prelude with that medium cursive italic. The price for this pen is 94 Aussie dollars. The ink by Diamine, and it's Sugar Snap. I love the base colour for this. I don't actually really see much of the shimmer coming through. Even there you can't really see much. But I love this base colour, like an olive green colour. It's quite pretty. So that's that Schaefer Prelude. And I've just seen a comment from Blonde Scales 1. We'll get to him in a second. But yes, I must keep the shimmer irritated. You know, a bit like I agitate and irritate the wife whenever I open my mouth. Got to make sure we do that to the ink as well. So up next we got the TWSBI Eco. This is in the orange colour. I love my Ecos. I've got a number of them. I love seeing this. It's a demonstrator pen. I just love seeing this ink flowing around. This one's got a fine nib. Section is a bit on the small side. That's one of the downsides. The pen though is a nice length. So TWSBI Eco with a fine nib. The price for this is about 59 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamine. And it's, just checking my notes, Fortune's Gold. I don't like this ink in this pen. The nib is just too, with it being a fine, it's just too light. You know, I struggle to see this. Hopefully we can see it if I... Yeah, I just don't like it. It needs to be in a broader nib, I think. What I may do is eventually try it in maybe one of my 1.1 stub nibs and see how it works with that. Certainly this fine. Yeah, just not my favourite combo. Still writes well though. The last of today's pens we're going to look at is the Jinhao 992. You know, we've had some expensive pens. We've gone to a dirt cheap one now. Very nice there. Nice green colour. Small pen, very light pen. Cartridge converter, I mean you can see it through the body. I have all the transparent colours of this. There are solid colours as well, but I don't have any of those. So this is a Jinhao 992. I think this writes so well. All of my 992s write really well. It's a fine nib. It's an expensive pen. Well, I've already said it's not expensive. It's $2.22 when I bought it. And I have seen them for less than that. I think I've got a couple of my other ones. I paid $1.71 for, and that's Aussie dollars. So, I mean, US dollars, you're heading towards just $1 there. The ink by Diamine. And it's Velvet Emerald. Again, it's an Inkvent ink. All of the inks today have been Inkvent inks. I love this colour. I love green anyway, but this, let me just try and get it central in the camera. Quite nice. It's an unusual green, which is nice to see. So that's the pens that I've been using this week. A little bit of a smaller number of them. How I do my videos is, although my pens and use videos come out at the start of the month, I do record them a bit earlier. So I'm actually recording next month's pens and use tomorrow, which is 22nd. I do that because it gives me time to edit them, gives me time to do everything around it, and also gives me a little bit of leeway. I've got a number of hospital appointments over the next few weeks, so they take me out and about. So it's just nice to be able to get things there and ready to upload a lot earlier. 1 second. So let's jump over to our comments again. Chris, Inkvent is black edition. I'm not a fan of blacks, but I wouldn't be surprised if Diamine designs some bangers for it. I don't know how they do so many inks. So let me just pull this up. On Cult Pens, obviously I did look at Cult Pens before I ordered this. It's got a list of what they think the inks are going to be. So let me just get this. Let me make it a bit bigger so it can be seen. And I'll share my screen. I'm just going to share the screen again. So according to Cult Pens, these are the names of the inks. So we've got Wilted Rose. Sorry if I'm spoiling this for people. You may want to put your fingers in your ears and close your eyes. Wilted Rose, Noble Fir, Grotto, Lemon and Lime, Vibe, Cosmic Glow, Cranberry, Nutmeg, Good Tidings, Tundra, Wishing Tree, Pine Needle, Baltic Breeze, Forest Gâteau, I'm guessing that might be a black ink, Fruit Cocktail, Icy Lilac, Potpourri, Marley, yes, Jacob Marley making his own here, Lullaby, Sleigh Ride, Salted Caramel, Winterberry, Mint Twist, Chilly Nights and Snow Globe. Let's get that off the screen. So I got that list from Cult Pens. I say sorry if I've spoilt it for anybody, but it's just a name, so I don't think hopefully it's not too bad. Blonde Scales 1. I'm trying to thin out my samples right now. Yeah, I did that, so I've now got no samples. I'm ever so pleased about that. Some of them I'd had for a couple of years. What I'm doing now, as I said a few weeks ago, is now I'm focusing on the Inkvent inks, the little bottles. So unless I've got a specific reason not to use it, the idea is I'm only using Inkvent inks for the foreseeable future to get that number down. Padino, the 823 is a hard pen to beat. Great nib, great ink capacity, awesome pen. Yeah, absolutely love it. I say it's normally inked up virtually all the time. Now I've got the Homo sapiens. What I may do is alternate between the two of them. I'm struggling to talk today. Chris, to Blonde Scales 1, I added more samples to bulk out the order. I'll never use all the inks I have now, many of them various shades of purple. I even got the new Lamy one, but haven't tried it yet. Yeah, I say that's my problem. I've got that many bottles. What I might do, let me make a note. Ink. What I've just made a note is maybe one live, I'll do a quick ink tour through my inks. Blonde scales 1, purples and blues dominate my inks. Yeah, green is the one I've got the most of. Then I would say it's red. Then we start moving into the blues and the purples. Andreas, love the 823. Haven't bought one yet because I'm not sure which of the 4 colours to get. I like the brown one, but the clear demonstrator and the KD timber one are beautiful too. I'm tempted with that demonstrator one. I'm tempted to save up for that. I do like the look of that. And I think it comes with the idea with that SIG nib. Blonde Scales 1, as I called out earlier, must keep the shimmer irritated. Absolutely. Padrino, have you had any of your Twisbys crack? No, I haven't. I've had most of them now well over 2 years. I've always got at least one inked up and not had any issues. But I do think that it was a problem that existed, and I think they either changed how they make the material or something, so I don't think it happens as much now. Chris, just realised that my brush pen is a copy of the Twisby Eco. I've got a highlighter yellow in it. Yeah, I've got the highlighter nib for the Preppies. I inked them up. I've never used them, so I ended up just dumping that ink. I don't find I use much of highlighters anymore. Blonde Scales 1. With my newest order, the Eco Teas now outnumber the Ecos. I've not tried an Eco Tea yet. I think I need to try that. I may be getting another Eco later in this year, but I'm not sure. I keep looking at the... is it the latte, the name of it? Like a pale brown one. I do like the look of that. Miss Marilyn, darling, I love my Jinhao 992. Absolutely. For what you pay for it, it's an awesome pen. Small side. That's all right. It's still usable. Will, hello all. Sorry for being late. Hope all are well. Welcome to you, Will. Trista Padrina, I believe the Twisby solved the cracking problem. It was locked in stress in the plastic. Doodlebud did an episode on this. Anita gave 992 for Christmas. Comes in bulk from Amazon. Yeah, I got mine from AliExpress. And I say, I just think they're such an awesome pen. Padrina, Chris, yep. However, they have a lot of... However, they have a lot of pens out there. Yeah, they do. I mean, Twisby is... although I said it's $59, I think you get them a bit cheaper if you look around. And that's here in Australia. Australia is expensive. If you go to the States or the UK, I think they're a lot cheaper. So let me just see if there's any more comments. Okay, let's swap on over to the presentation. Hit the play button. So back to the screen. I've just had a mouthful of my tea. So last week's videos. On Sunday, we had the Conklin All-American versus the Wingsun 630. So the version of the Conklin I looked at was a resin version. It's the Courage model. Beautiful looking pen. It was a gift from a viewer. Absolutely gorgeous. And I do have another Conklin All-American, which was a wooden one, golden walnut. One of the worst pens, if not the worst pen I have ever owned. It's the only pen where I've said I'm never going to ink it again. So yeah, Conklin, that was the All-American in the resin, beautiful pen. That was going up against the Wingsun 630. Again, another pen that I was gifted. Quite an interesting one. They're two very different price points. And I find them both nice pens. I enjoy using both of them. Problem with the Wingsun, it's nib choice. The Wingsun was also a number 8 nib, so there was a difference there. Tuesday, I did a quick look at some fountain pen filling systems. I thought, especially, for people that are new to fountain pens, it is a bit daunting when you look at all the different filling systems. So I just went through the ones I have, which are most of the common ones. Friday, that was my half-time report for July, so that's how I'm getting on with my pens this month. Coming up during the next week, Today is July inked pens. So this is where I take a look at all the pens that I inked up, but in my pen case, they're not in my they're not in my EDC. Tuesday, that will be Jinhao 9019 versus the Mahjong M1000. 2 Chinese pens, 2 fairly large pens. Again, I thought it was an interesting one to do. Friday, I'll be showing my nib swapping on a Jinhao 80 and swapping that with a nib off a Lamy Safari. So what I do there is I do a writing sample at the start, swap the nibs on camera, do a writing sample at the end. Loved it, loved doing that, really interesting. And the Jinhao 80 now with the Safari nib, which is a broad nib. Oh, I love that. It's such a wet, juicy writer. Yes, the ink is a very wet ink. It's Diamine Writer's Blood. I don't know how I can say how nice it is. Really enjoying that. Saturday, that will be on my Tricky Little Questions channel, and that's the July photo quiz. And I believe this one is all about animals. So it's all, if you like animals, I think this one, 10 photos to guess. I say all featuring animals. And my books, the books I've been reading this month, or this week, should I say. We've been reading Terry Goodkind, The Ummah Machine. I finished that on Sunday last week. I think there was about 50 pages when I did last week's live. That's now finished. Really enjoyed it. It's the start of a series. To me, one of the big messages was how rumours can spread and rumours can affect how people think. Quite interesting. And then that's going up against... no, it's not going up against. So from Monday on, I've been reading Masquerade by Terry Pratchett. So it's another witches. We've got Nanny Odd. We've got Granny Witherwax. We've had a guest appearance by Death, a guest appearance by the Librarian. Really interesting. So this is themed around an opera house. And it's, again, quite interesting. It's very much Phantom of the Opera type storyline. Really enjoying it. I love Terry Pratchett. And then that will be getting finished today. I've got 80 pages left. So I'll be finishing that today. And I've actually, whilst I've been doing this, had a notification coming in. My next one is now available on ebook. I do have the physical book, but the next one will be Feet of Clay, again by Terry Pratchett. So that one will be getting started tomorrow. So that's what I've been reading and what videos are coming up. Let me just close this out. Now I've closed down the screen. Oh, come on, Garry. There we go. Let's just close that. Back to the comments. And Ricardo to Pedrino. I've had a few cracks on a VAC Mini, but they are my fault as I over tightened the end piston while cleaning it. Blonde Scales 1. I've got a Twisby swipe to play with now too. Do you know I don't know what it is, but the Twisby swipe just didn't interest me. I didn't bother with it, which is all right. I mean, that's what pens are there for. You don't have to get every pen that's going. I might eventually get one. Again, it's very similar to what I was saying about the Tuzu. It's a starter pen, so I might get that so that I can add that to the collection of starter pens when I talk about them again. Blonde Scales 1. I like my Jinhao 80. Absolutely, I love mine. It's really nice. Especially, I wasn't too keen with the fine nib, but now I've swapped the nib. Wow. Chris, I've put a Lamy 1.9 stub on a Jinhao 80. It's a lot of fun. I bet it is. I've got a 1.5, I think it is, which I really like. That's on the AL Star, and I love that combo. Pedrino, yes, some of their models are easy to do if you're not careful. That's like, whenever you take apart any pen. Just, especially, there are some which I think you'd be really upset. I mean, like my 823, I wouldn't dream of taking that apart, but, the amount of money I paid for it. Chris, I'm really upset that Terry Pratchett is no longer with us. Absolutely. What I think is really good there is, I don't know how many but a lot of the last books were written after he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So I just think it's good that we got as many books as we did. Really enjoying this reread. So what I'm trying to do at the moment is I'm reading like 2 or 3 Pratchett books, then I'm reading one of the Terry Goodkind books, then back to Pratchett. Really enjoying it. I just love, I say, this Masquerade, about 380 pages, and I've bashed through it in a week. It's a book I love to just pick up and read. Blonde Scales 1. Finally finished the Joe Pickett series, and I'm waiting for the next book. I hope it's not like George R.R. Martin. What is it? We've been waiting something like 10, if not more than 10 years for the next Song of Ice and Fire book. And still waiting, still no sign of it being there. I'm at the stage now where I don't think I'll actually buy the next George R.R. Martin book. Because we've waited so long, I don't see the point, You've lost where you are. At least where they've got books coming out like once a year, you've still got a rough idea in your mind. But 10 years since I read the last book, and I don't want to go and reread all of them, but I'm just having a whinge now. Anita experienced first pen drop on the nib. Learning experience, I bet it was. That's one thing I always worry about is dropping my pens. I'm trying to think, I've got one handy which is not. So like, these pens, like this is the that pen bloke pen. Beautiful pen. No clip or anything, which I know I bought it like that. I understand that. So it rolls easy. So what I always do with that when I'm using that one is I've got a little, let me just pull it out. It says, knock in the camera, I can't reach it. Definitely knock in the camera that time. Good view of my ceiling. Let me just try and get this back. Something, I don't know. Useless, Garry. There we are, that's a little bit better. I've got a little pen rest that was sent by Just Turnings when I ordered one of the pens. His kids make them. I just use that. I just have that on my desk. Absolutely love it. Just refresh the comments. Chris Robinson, George Martin is a genius. Though. Absolutely. His books are awesome. Really, I do enjoy them. But I say it's just the amount of waiting. Padrino, I stopped with R.R. Martin after Dance of Dragons. Didn't like the direction, and I've been reading him since 2007. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I've quite enjoyed them. I mean, I watched the series, so you sort of have an idea where it's going. I'm watching season 2 of House of the Dragon at the moment. Not sure what I think of that, I've got to be honest. Although the dragon fight was really good. I'm onto my cordial now. So this is a Batman glass. So the Dark Knight. And it's, I think it's apple and raspberry cordial. I drink it really, really weak, which is why it looks so anemic. Blonde Scales 1. I'm guessing it'll be out next year. Just add it to my list. I'm currently, sorry. Let's start again. I'm guessing it will be out next year. Just add it to my list. I'm currently waiting for next year. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a massive list of books that I'm waiting for. I'll pull it up and show you. Let me expand that. The writing will be a little bit on the smaller side here. I'm not going to expand this. So I have in Apple Notes, I've got a folder called Books. And in here, I've got all the authors that I'm either reading or want to read. As you can see, there's absolutely loads of them. So like here, Terry Goodkind, here's the books that I'm reading here. And then I've got it as a little checkbox, so then I tick them off as I read them. I haven't ticked off Masquerade yet. There we go. There's Masquerade. And so you can see they're the ones I've read. These are the ones I've still got to go. So about getting close to halfway through there with Terry Pratchett. Then I've got all sorts of Bram Stoker. I've actually read that. I don't know why it's not ticked off. Dracula, really interesting book. If you've never read it, it's worth reading. Very different from any of the movies that you see. It's more to me, it's more of a love story than anything else. So yeah, we've got like Robert Jordan. Again, I need to fill this all out because although I've got all his books, it would be a reread. So there's my George R.R. Martin. Yeah, loads of different authors in there. So let me go back to the camera. Close that down. Blonde Scales 1. I didn't get a pen rest with my pen. Yeah, they don't go out with all the orders, I believe. And I mean, I ordered that one I got that about 18 months ago, so it might be something that maybe you stopped doing it now. Chris, come back to them for later. It's funny how a few years can change your perception of a book or series. Absolutely. That's what I'm finding with the Terry Pratchett ones. Because it's a reread, really is quite interesting. And I do think I am getting more. Maybe it's because I'm looking more for it, but I'm trying to look for like the underlying messages with a lot of books as to, has it got some kind of underlying message? Or is it just one there just for the fun of it? Blonde Scales 1, these are waiting to be published books. Yeah, so what I would do, as soon as I know that, an author's got another book coming out, I would add them onto that list. Anita, has anybody got any suggestions on desk figure pen holders? I can't really say much because that's not something I have. I think it's worth looking on AliExpress and Temu if you're happy using sites like that. It's hard to search. I mean, they may or may not do something like that. I don't know. I won't even know where to look. Let me just refresh the comments. From Chris, if you've got a 3D printer, you might be able to find some interesting models. I've just printed a really interesting pen cup for my desk. Yeah, I keep toying with the idea of getting a 3D printer, and then I keep thinking to myself, but what will I use it for? We don't really do a lot of like handy stuff around the house, so that's not really something I would need, to do things like for them. So it would only be stuff for my desk, and I can buy most of what I want. So yeah, it's a bit humming and hawing about that. Padrina, Chris, that's easy to do with R.R. Martin. Almost a decade between releases, absolutely. Blonde Scales 1, I have a couple of pen crabs. Yeah, I've looked at them. I nearly bought some, but I've never actually bitten the bullet with them. Oh, come on, why aren't you working? There we go. All right, let me just refresh the comments. Okay, that's all the comments done. So I will come back in 1 second. So thank you all for your time. Let's sit up and get myself actually in the camera. Wow, we're at 55 minutes, so it's a bit of a quick one today. Thank you all for your time. I love doing this. I know this. I say this all the time. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. Don't forget there's membership available. The membership does help me with funding future purchases for the channel. As I say, that's why I was able to afford the Delta and the Hexo. The Omar very, very generously gifted to me. But the Delta and the Hexo all coming out of the funds that have come to the channel. So thank you all. Do appreciate the membership. Blonde Scales 1, have a great week all. Matt, Miss Marilyn, darling. Thanks, Garry. Take care, everyone. See you all next week. Bye, all. Thanks, Garry. Miss Marilyn, darling, thumbs up. Thank you all. Absolutely loved this. I'll leave the chat open whilst the outro plays. And I'll talk to you again soon.